Here's a pretty common complaint I hear from people about the loan process. They ask, why do you not let me know everything I need up front? You know you need it, so why do I keep getting asked for things later on in the process? It would be so much easier if you just told me up front what I need and I'd be happy to give it to you. Here's the answer. It's what I tell people. We don't know what we don't know until we know. Here's what I mean. When we take your application and you start getting information, we don't quite know your whole situation. We'll ask for things like tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, things like that. And buyers would like to have the process be pretty straightforward, start and a finish. That would be really nice if it was a straight line, easy like that, but it doesn't always work that way. When we start collecting all of your information, what if we get all your pay stubs and we figure out, there's deductions on here. This looks like child support. Do you have a child support obligation? Now all of a sudden we start getting sideways a little bit. And that may open more doors once we get that child support document, the judgment, divorce decree, things like that. So all of a sudden it's opened up some doors and we're all over the place, kind of deviating away from that straight line. Let's say we get that figured out, and now we start looking at the bank statements. Well, guess what? The bank statements show there's payments every month to the IRS. Do you have an installment plan with the IRS for past due taxes? So now we have to go to IRS and get a copy of your payment plan and arrangements with the IRS for that tax debt. Again, we're kind of going all over the place away from the straight line here because we don't always know at the time of initial application what other things are part of your situation or your scenario. There could be other things like we run something called a fraud guard. We're not looking for fraud, but it searches public records and tells us things like if there's any prior public filings for bankruptcies or foreclosures or other properties you might be associated with. On that public record search, it may show up there's another property associated with you on the other side of the country. Do you own that property? And the answer might be, well, yes, that's a property that I inherited with my sibling. We both own it. We don't own anything on it, but we still do own that property. We need to know those types of things as a lender because that has an obligation tied to it. If there's insurance on it, if there's taxes on it, if there's an HOA fee on it, all those things count and we need to consider them. So those types of things we don't necessarily know up here. Sometimes it's further on down the process where we discover those, and that's why we need to ask you for those additional documents. But just remember this, it's very important. We're not asking for all these things because we're trying to pry into your personal information, because we like collecting documents, because we like additional paperwork, because we like making things harder, and we're just trying to be annoying. Not at all. We don't like this stuff either, but it is a requirement for the loan process, and it's what we need to do to make sure you go from here to here. Even if it's not an exact straight line, you might have to follow one of these paths here, but eventually we will get you to this point, and we apologize for any inconvenience, but it is part of the process.